Our understanding of the gut-brain connection is nuanced, complicated, and also mired in ignorance. We've been exploring how the microbiome might be predisposing people to the development of mental health disorders for quite some time. A lot of this comes along the lines of trying to understand how a dysbiotic microbiome, a microbiome that's not in equilibrium with our own immune system, our own endocrine system, our own nervous system, how that might be influencing the outcomes of disease. We know that people are genetically predisposed towards certain mental health disorders. We understand that those predispositions can be triggered to full-blown disease by insults in our environment. And we believe that the microbiome may be mediating some of those triggers. So, for example, eating a poor diet, a diet rich in saturated fats and sugar, for example, what I would call the standard American diet, that diet can alter the microbiome to become a microbiome that is pro-inflammatory, is not producing the right kinds of metabolites which help to feed our body and our immune system. And this, in somebody who is predisposed genetically to the development of neurological disorders and mental health disorders, can trigger that onset. We have understood for many years that things like diet, exercise, changes in lifestyle generally can have a profound impact upon our physiological health and our mental health. We've had some really good preliminary data from a number of clinical trials around the world that demonstrate that what types of bacteria you have inside your body will influence whether a diet will have a profound impact upon mental health outcomes, for example, and whether exercise will alter that physiological and mental health dynamic. So it's ongoing research, but it is demonstrating that the type of microbiome or your personalized individual microbiome may be playing a role in how successful these interventions can be in helping to see an improvement in your mental or physical health. We have tended to demonstrate that eating a higher fiber diet, at least 40 to 50 grams of fiber in a week, which sounds like a lot in America, but it's actually not a huge amount of fiber overall. But by consuming 40 to 50 grams of fiber a day, trying to consume as many as 40 different species of plant in a week, can have impacts upon behavioral outcomes. We've shown this in certain population studies, in cross-sectional analysis studies, and in intervention studies in different groups of people that have demonstrated improvements in people's physiological well-being based upon higher fiber, sometimes more fermented food, and sometimes increased amounts of polyphenol. So this is interesting because all of those dietary traits influence microbial activity in the gut, tend to suppress gastrointestinal and systemic inflammation because of how those bacteria process that food and the metabolites they release that feed our immune system and feed our body. When we've examined people who with depression and without depression, for example, we've identified there are certain bacteria that are missing in people that have depression. So what we're exploring now are ways of adding those bacteria back into people who are suffering from depression to see if those bacteria can actually reduce the symptoms of disease. There are a number of companies now launching clinical trials to add these bacteria back in as antidepressant probiotics. However, we're not quite at the stage of being able to recommend that at a clinical level. This is still a research project, but it's getting close to the point where maybe we can balance the equilibrium of a depressed person's microbiome, adding the good bacteria back in and making sure that everything is working properly to support mental health.